My name is Jack Little. I teach English and History at Mater Dei Academy.
My name is Claire McCarthy and I teach English and Theology here at Mater Dei Academy, and I also work with Mater Dei Education online. So Mater Dei Academy is the classical Catholic secondary school based here in Cork City, and Mater Dei Education is our online homeschooling program which offers the exact same classical curriculum, allowing students to receive a rich Irish classical education no matter where in the world they are.
Classical education is about forming both mind and soul. It's not just about passing exams, although that's a good thing. It's about immersing students in the Catholic, classical and Irish tradition, also hopefully giving them a foundation for life. Students study scripture and theology, but they also encounter Christ through the great works of literature, history, art, and through their Socratic seminars they're able to have deep discussions about truth, goodness and beauty.
A classical education has a broader view or goal of education, which is about more than just utility. So it looks at a holistic formation of the whole person so that students are growing not only in practical knowledge, but also in virtue, critical thinking, recognizing and loving the true, the good, and the beautiful. I actually received a classical education myself, and it really shaped me into who I am today.
One of the hallmarks of a classical education is that the subjects interconnect, which makes the students' learning more meaningful and complete. You will see in our curriculum that what a student learns in history shows up in their literature and their art, and so on. So each year has a theme or focus.
So in first year, the whole curriculum is centered around ancient Greece and Rome. In the autumn, the students will dive into ancient Greece and they explore the myths and the heroes such as Achilles and Odysseus and the beginnings of Western thought. Then in the spring, they move on to the grandeur of the Roman Empire and they get to read Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. And in art, they study classical art and they also begin Latin, aiming for the IGCSE Latin exam by the end of fourth year.
In science, for example, they focus on earth science, which really encourages them to marvel at God's creation. And alongside that, they continue with maths and Irish, working towards their IGCSE exam in maths, and the TIG exam in Irish by the end of fourth year. In second year, students really engage with Ireland's own story. In history, they study the rise of Western civilization from the fall of the ancient world to the end of the medieval period, with Ireland playing a central role during its golden age. They learn about the spread of Christianity, the Vikings, and Norman invasions, and the intellectual life of medieval Europe. In English, students read Irish sagas and folk tales by Eileen O'Phelan, full of heroic tales and virtue and wonder. In the spring, they explore the play Translations, which reflects on themes of language, identity, and cultural conflict, themes that resonate deeply with both classical and Irish history. Students also reflect on these themes in their essay work. In Irish, students continue to discuss related themes in the novel An Gadi Dubh.
In art, the second years trace Irish art from the Neolithic period right through the early Christian Golden Age and even into the 20th century revival with works like the Honan Chapel and Loughrea Cathedral. And of course, they continue with maths, Latin, and biology, preparing for their IGCSE combined science. And they also begin French, working towards the DELF exam.
Third year is all about the Renaissance and Ireland's journey into the modern world. Students look at big events like the reign of Elizabeth I, the Battle of Kinsale, and the Penal Laws, and how those shaped Irish culture, language, religion, and society.
So in third year, we don't just look at Ireland, we put all of it into the wider European picture, connecting it to movements like the Reformation and the rise of the nation state. So it's really about trying to see how Ireland fits into the bigger story. So for example, the third years read Hard Times, which is a novel that looks at how industrialization affected people's lives. And of course, this is something that came out of these earlier shifts in politics and society. And they also read A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is just a fun way to explore imagination and the ideals of the Renaissance.
In art, they study some of the big names, like Michelangelo, and then jump into Reformation and Counter-Reformation art, looking at artists like Rembrandt. It's a great way for students to see how ideas and culture develop across different subjects. They also keep going with Latin, maths, French, and science. In Irish, they read Jameen, and one of the really exciting additions is logic. It teaches them how to think clearly and reason well, skills they'll use for the rest of their lives, not just in school. In fourth year, things really step up as students explore the major political and social changes of the 19th and 20th centuries. They follow Ireland's journey through the rise of nationalism, the famine, both world wars, and the Troubles, all within a global context. It really helps them to make sense of the modern world.
In English, they study a Shakespeare play, although that does change from year to year, and they also read Animal Farm, which is a great fit for this stage because it looks at power, propaganda, and revolution, all big themes in modern history. And of course, they keep going with all their core subjects, now including physics. And they also get to start philosophy. This is where students get to really ask the big questions and reflect on who they are, the world around them, and their faith.
Students are fully prepared to sit their IGCSEs in English, Maths, Science and Latin, take exams in Irish and DELF exams in French. Then, in the senior cycle, they are fully prepared for the Irish Leaving Cert, all without compromising their classical formation or their faith.
For our online homeschooling students with Modern Day Education, we support them with personalized daily lesson plans, live online classes in Irish, Latin, French, and Socratic seminars, and we'll be continuing to add classes as we grow. And we also offer pre-recorded lessons in maths, science, English, grammar, and literature. And our online students also are very welcome to join us for 2 school trips every year so that they can build friendships and community among themselves as well.
At Modern Day Academy, we're a vibrant school community at the heart of Cork City with a young, dynamic team of teachers. We are passionate about teaching, about excellence, about classical education, and about rekindling the faith in Ireland. It really is an incredible place for your child to be formed in the faith and the classical tradition and make friends who have that same goal.
If you're passionate about learning, about forming not only the mind but the soul, then Modern Day Academy here in Cork or homeschooling online with Modern Day Education is an excellent fit for you. I think that a Catholic classical education is a really wonderful gift to pass on, and it will serve your child for a lifetime and hopefully orient them ultimately to the truth and to Christ.